We got a real good stand on our early planting of radishes and spinach here in the garden. In fact, so much so that we're coming in and thinning now. And I'm thinning these at a distance of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches between plants on the radishes. This gives plenty of room for the radish to enlarge so we can get a nice uniform size on it. And as I'm thinning these, I also note that we have a lot of flea beetle damage. And a flea beetle is a pretty serious pest in the early gardens. It's a little tiny, dark, purplish, or almost black shining little beetle that just kind of flits around and jumps around like a flea, hence the name flea beetle. The damage is evidenced by little tiny holes that are in the foliage that looks like almost a buckshot appearance, and also a roughening of the foliage similar to maybe where a sandpaper or something had come over and rubbed the foliage. So it's pretty evident as far as the symptoms are concerned. But we can control the flea beetle pretty easily. The material we're using today is Triple Plus. It's an insecticide that can be used either as a wettable powder or a dust. It contains pyrethrin, rotenone, and rhyania, which are all organic pesticides from plant materials. It does work very well in controlling the flea beetle, and I'm just going to dust along the top here and we should get pretty good control on it. It's also time, if you want to make some progressive plantings of radishes, to make that second or third planting. And I like to do that because that gives us an extended harvest in the garden. So I'm going to be making my second planting of radishes today, while Sue's going to talk to you about planting some varieties of lettuce and also a new carrot variety that she has.
You know, with a salad garden, planting is not a single isolated event. You don't plant it all at one time and then leave it go to harvest it all summer long. You have to continually be replanting so you'll have fresh salad crops all summer. I have some carrots here. This is A+ variety. It's a fairly new variety, and the reason it's called A+ is that it has an extra high quantity of vitamin A when we go to harvest the roots. Now, planting carrots, they like a warm soil temperature, but they'll tolerate our cooler soil temperatures in the spring now, and now's a good time to plant them. Our soil temperature is around 50 to 55 degrees, and they'll grow just fine in that. Remember last fall we planted some, and they'll tolerate soil temperatures up to 80 degrees and can be planted in late summer and make you a good fall crop. With carrots, one thing I want you to remember is that they need constant moisture. Give them a good watering when you plant them, or plant into moist soil, and never let it dry out, because once that little root sprouts and starts growing, it must not be impeded in growth, so you'll have a nice, straight, long root. Now with lettuce varieties, I have 4 here that are from Johnny's Seeds up in Maine. One is a Nue lettuce. It's a Hawaiian variety that is very heat tolerant, and I grew this in a Master Gardener demonstration garden in Tulsa last year, and it did very, very well. Just plant a few of those. Remember that lettuce seed, for the most part, needs light to germinate, and so we're just going to barely press these into the soil and keep them moist for the next few days. I've made little trenches here to help hold moisture while they grow. The other 3 varieties I'll be planting, one is Rosalita, and this is a red romaine lettuce. And Rosalita is green with red tips on it, very, very attractive. Now with romaine lettuce, I've planted it in between 2 faster growing lettuces because it needs a little more room, and as those are harvested, I'll have space to grow it. The last 2 varieties, one is Sangria, and Sangria is a red butterhead lettuce. And with butterhead lettuce, thinning is even more important than with leaf lettuce if you're going to have it make a nice little tight head. Now regular iceberg head lettuce does not grow well here in Oklahoma, so don't even try it because of our high temperatures. But with the butterheads, we can grow those successfully. One other type I'll be sowing is Lolo Rosa, and it's an Italian variety of leaf lettuce that is both green and red. Very, very attractive in the garden. Look around your garden center or your seed catalogs for some different varieties of lettuce. It's always nice to have 4 or 5 different kinds so that when you have salads served throughout the summer, you'll have plenty of color in the salad bowl.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge. both classic and contemporary.